I never thought I'd be writing this kind of post, but I need to get this off my chest. The past few weeks have been absolute hell, and I need advice on how to handle this situation. I, 25M, met my girlfriend Kylie, 25F, in community college 7 years ago during a biology class we shared. We were lab partners and quickly became close friends. She was different back then, driven, focused, and had big dreams. We started dating 2 years after meeting, when we both realized our friendship had grown into something more. When I first met Kylie, she was passionate about becoming a nurse. This wasn't just a casual interest, she had detailed plans about specializing in pediatric care and eventually getting her master's degree to become a nurse practitioner. She volunteered at local hospitals, joined nursing student organizations, and spent hours studying for her prerequisites. Her drive and ambition were what attracted me to her in the first place. She would light up whenever she talked about helping sick children or discuss different medical procedures. While she was working towards her nursing degree, I transferred to a university to get my MBA. Those years were tough. I was taking a full course load while working part-time to support myself. Kylie was there for me emotionally through all of it. She would bring me coffee during late-night study sessions, proofread my papers, and always believed in me when I doubted myself. I'll always be grateful for that support. During my second year at university, Kylie's relationship with her parents became strained. They had always supported her financially, paying for her education and living expenses. However, they discovered she had maxed out 3 credit cards they had co-signed for her. The total debt was over $30,000, spent mostly on designer clothes and expensive nights out. Instead of taking responsibility, Kylie blamed her parents for not teaching her proper financial management. They eventually cut her off completely. This forced her to take a year off school to work at a local jewelry store. She claimed this was temporary, just to get back on her feet. I supported her decision, thinking it showed maturity that she was willing to work to pay off her debts. Looking back, I should have seen the red flags in how she handled money. Meanwhile, I was building a startup with my best friend Jake. We met in our MBA program and discovered we both had ideas about revolutionizing the automotive industry through technology. We created a platform that streamlines the car buying process using AI. We worked countless late nights, invested all our savings, and took huge risks. Kylie often complained about how much time I spent working, but I knew it would be worth it. Earlier this year, everything changed. A major tech company approached us about buying our platform. After months of negotiations, they bought us out for an amount that still feels surreal to think about. They also kept Jake and me on as consultants with 6-figure salaries. When I got home that day and told Kylie about the buyout, her reaction was strange. Instead of being happy for my success, her first question was about how much money we would have to spend. The very next day, she quit her job at the jewelry store without even discussing it with me. She just walked out in the middle of her shift after having an argument with her manager about scheduling. When I asked her about it, she said she didn't need to put up with that treatment anymore now that we were set for life. I wanted to be supportive, so I offered to pay for her nursing school and all her expenses. I remembered how she had supported me through university, and I wanted to return the favor. She seemed excited at first, talking about finally being able to pursue her dreams without financial stress. I bought us a luxury condo near her chosen nursing school, thinking it would help her focus on her studies. The condo cost nearly $2 million, but I wanted to give us a fresh start. But things started changing rapidly after we moved in. Last weekend, while we were having breakfast, she casually mentioned not wanting to return to school anymore. She talked about being a stay-at-home wife instead, even though we aren't married or even engaged. When I asked about her nursing dreams, she dismissed them as young girl fantasies and said she had grown up now. Her spending habits have also become extremely concerning. She's been shopping constantly, buying designer clothes and expensive jewelry almost daily. Yesterday, she spent $5,000 on designer bags without even mentioning it to me. When I brought up the fact that we should discuss large purchases, she got defensive and said she deserved nice things now that we could afford them. She's been looking at $80,000 cars and talking about renovating our brand new condo, saying it needs a more luxury feel. What really opened my eyes was a conversation I overheard between her and her friend Sarah on speakerphone while she was getting ready for bed. Kylie was bragging about how she never has to work again and called herself a future trophy wife. She even joked about how she had struck gold with me and how her investment in our relationship had finally paid off. It made me sick to my stomach hearing her talk about our relationship like it was a business transaction. The final straw came when I found out she had been lying about applying to nursing programs. She showed me confirmation emails from various schools, but something felt off about them. When I checked them closely, I realized they were old emails from years ago that she had edited to change the dates. When I confronted her about it, she brushed it off saying she was just waiting for the right time to tell me about changing her plans. I feel like I'm dating a completely different person now. The ambitious, hardworking woman I fell in love with has been replaced by someone who just wants to spend my money. I'm starting to question if she ever really wanted to be a nurse or if she was just waiting for an opportunity like this to show her true colors. My parents, who initially loved Kylie, are now urging me to end things before they get more serious. They reminded me that her own parents cut her off due to financial irresponsibility, and they're worried she'll do the same thing with my money. Jake has also warned me that she might try to claim common law marriage since we're living together, and advised me to protect myself legally. I know I need to end this relationship, but I'm worried about how she'll react. She keeps talking about marriage and drops hints about engagement rings whenever we pass jewelry stores. She's also been making comments about wanting to be added to my bank accounts for convenience. I don't want to seem like I'm looking down on stay-at-home partners. I respect that choice when it comes from a genuine place. But this feels different. It feels calculated and manipulative, like she's taking advantage of my success. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since my original post, and I honestly wish I had acted sooner because things have spiraled completely out of control. After reading your comments about setting boundaries and having an honest conversation, I decided to have a serious talk with Kylie about our future. I planned it carefully, choosing a time when we were both calm and had no other commitments. I sat her down in our living room and expressed my concerns about her changing career plans and recent spending habits. I tried to be gentle but direct, explaining how her behavior had changed since the buyout and how it worried me that she had abandoned her nursing dreams so quickly. I also brought up specific examples of her excessive spending, like the $5,000 shopping spree and her constant demands for home renovations. Her reaction was not at all what I expected. At first, she just sat there silently, staring at me with this weird blank expression. Then suddenly, she burst into tears. Not normal crying, I mean full-on hysterical sobbing. She started accusing me of trying to control her and claimed I was becoming just like her ex, who she said had been financially abusive. This was the first time I'd ever heard anything about an abusive ex. She went on this long rant about how I didn't understand the pressure she was under to keep up appearances now that we were wealthy. She said she needed to look and act a certain way to fit into my new social circle. When I pointed out that I didn't care about any of that, she screamed that I was trying to make her look bad in front of our new wealthy friends I didn't even know we had, since I spend most of my time working. Then came the bombshell that made my blood run cold. Through her tears, she revealed that she's been telling her family and friends that we're engaged. Not just hinting at it or suggesting it might happen soon, she's been fully pretending we're engaged for the past month. She even showed me a ring she bought herself, an expensive diamond ring that she's been wearing whenever I'm not around. She's been posting photos of it on social media and telling everyone I proposed during a romantic dinner at some restaurant we've never even been to. I was completely shocked. We had never even discussed engagement seriously. Sure, she had been dropping hints about rings and marriage, but I had no idea she was fabricating an entire engagement behind my back. When I told her this had to stop, that she needed to tell everyone the truth, she became hysterical again. But this time, the tears were replaced with rage. She started screaming about how she had supported me through school and that I owed her. According to her twisted logic, she invested years of her life in me and now deserved to reap the benefits. She actually said, "I was there when you had nothing, so I deserve half of everything you have now." She brought up every small thing she'd ever done for me, from proofreading my papers to making me coffee during study sessions, presenting them as if they were massive sacrifices that I now needed to repay. The next day, while I was at work trying to process everything that had happened, Kylie went on a massive shopping spree. She spent over $50,000 on my credit cards in just a few hours. She bought designer clothes, jewelry, and even put a deposit down on a luxury car, all without my knowledge or consent. She later claimed this was her severance package in case I broke up with her. When I saw the charges coming through on my phone and froze the cards, she completely lost it. She started calling everyone in my life. She called my parents and told them I was abusing her financially, claiming I had promised to support her and was now withholding money to control her. She contacted my sister and said I had promised to pay for her upcoming wedding but was now backing out just to be spiteful. She even reached out to Jake, telling him I had become corrupted by money and asking him to talk some sense into me. Worried about what else she might do, I immediately contacted my lawyer to protect myself. That's when we discovered something truly disturbing. Kylie had been methodically documenting everything about my finances. She had been taking photos of all my financial documents and contracts while I was at work or sleeping. She had pictures of everything: bank statements, investment accounts, the company buyout agreement, confidential information about our technology, everything. When confronted about these photos, she didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she claimed it was for our future together and that as my future wife she had a right to know about our finances. She said she was just being thorough in case anything happened to me. My lawyer was extremely concerned about the confidential company information she had accessed. I'm now in the process of having her legally evicted from the condo. I honestly thought she would leave voluntarily once I made it clear things were over, but I was wrong. She's refusing to move out, claiming she has established tenant rights since she's been living here. My lawyer confirmed that she does indeed have tenant rights, so now I have to go through a formal eviction process that could take months. Meanwhile, she's still living here, making my life absolutely miserable. She invites her friends over at all hours, plays loud music when I'm trying to work, and has started leaving passive-aggressive notes all over the house. She's even taken over the master bedroom, forcing me to sleep in the guest room. She keeps telling me this is just a rough patch in our relationship and that I'll come to my senses eventually. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare. The woman I thought I knew, the one I loved and trusted, never really existed. She was just playing a role until she got what she wanted. Now I'm trapped living with someone who sees me as nothing but a meal ticket, and I can't even kick her out of my own house. I'm sleeping with my bedroom door locked because I don't trust what she might do next. Update 2. It's been a month since my last update, and the situation has exploded in ways I never imagined possible. After starting the eviction process, Kylie showed her true colors in the worst way possible. She contacted several of my company's competitors and threatened to share confidential information about our technology unless I agreed to give her a settlement. She demanded $2 million in exchange for her silence, claiming it was fair compensation for her years of emotional investment in our relationship. She even hired a lawyer who specializes in common law marriage cases. They tried to argue that since we had lived together and I had supported her financially, we were essentially married in the eyes of the law. Her lawyer sent me a lengthy letter detailing how she had sacrificed her career to support my dreams and therefore deserved half of everything I owned. They also threatened to go public with personal details about our relationship if I didn't agree to negotiate. But her plan backfired spectacularly. The moment she made threats about revealing company information, I notified our legal team. They immediately sprang into action, sending her a cease and desist letter and filing a lawsuit for attempted corporate espionage. The lawsuit detailed how she had secretly photographed confidential documents and attempted to use them for extortion. When her lawyer found out about the corporate espionage angle, he dropped her case immediately. Apparently, he hadn't known about her attempts to sell company secrets and wanted nothing to do with it. During all this legal back and forth, I discovered she had been lying about her past too. Jake hired a private investigator to look into her background, worried she might have done this before. What we found was shocking. She had never actually started nursing school, she had only taken a few prerequisites at community college. Her transcript showed she had dropped most of her classes after the first few weeks. The story about her parents cutting her off because of credit card debt was also a lie. The real reason was much worse. This wasn't her first time trying to manipulate a relationship for financial gain. She had done this before with her ex-boyfriend, a real estate agent she dated 3 years before meeting me. She had convinced him to put her name on his house deed, claiming they would get married soon. When he discovered she was cheating and broke up with her, she refused to leave and demanded half the house's value to get her name off the deed. Her parents cut her off when they found out about this scheme, not because of credit cards like she claimed. The real shock came when Jake found her profile on a sugar daddy website. She had been active on it for years, even while we were dating. Her profile specifically targeted successful tech entrepreneurs, describing herself as a nursing student looking for a mentor to help achieve her dreams. She had detailed posts about how to spot promising startups and identify entrepreneurs likely to succeed. When confronted with this, she didn't even deny it. She just said she was networking and that lots of successful people use such websites to make connections. The private investigator also uncovered a pattern of similar behavior with other men. Before her real estate agent ex, she had dated a medical student, convincing him to add her to his bank accounts before disappearing with a significant amount of his money. She had apparently been planning these types of schemes for years, getting better at them each time. All of this information was passed to my company's legal team, strengthening our case against her. They amended the lawsuit to include her history of financial manipulation and fraud. The evidence was overwhelming: text messages, emails, bank records, and testimonies from her previous victims all painted a clear picture of who she really was. Kylie's response to being exposed was to launch a smear campaign against me on social media. She posted edited versions of our conversations, trying to make it look like I had promised to support her forever. She claimed I had forced her to quit her job and abandon her dreams, painting herself as a victim of financial abuse. Some people actually believed her story, sending me angry messages about how I had used and discarded her. But her social media campaign backfired too. Her previous victims started coming forward, sharing their own stories about how she had manipulated and used them. The real estate agent even offered to testify against her if needed. Faced with mounting evidence and multiple potential lawsuits, Kylie finally realized she was fighting a losing battle. Update 3. 7 months have passed since this nightmare began, and I'm finally ready to share how everything concluded. The eviction process turned out to be even messier than expected. During her final 3 months in my condo, Kylie went on a rampage of destruction that I never thought possible from someone I once loved. She poured bleach on my entire designer wardrobe, ruining clothes worth thousands of dollars. She scratched my car so badly it needed a complete paint job, and somehow managed to pour sugar in the gas tank, causing engine damage. She tried to hack into my social media accounts and even attempted to access my company email to delete important files. The worst part was when she contacted all my business associates, trying to spread rumors about drug use and embezzlement to damage my reputation. The company lawsuit against her was finally settled out of court, but not before she tried one last desperate move. She attempted to contact our biggest competitor again, but they immediately reported her to our legal team. Backed into a corner, she agreed to sign an extensive NDA. The terms were strict: she can never contact me, my family, or anyone associated with my company again. She had to surrender all copies of my financial documents and agree to stay away from the tech industry entirely. In return, we dropped the lawsuit and agreed not to pursue criminal charges for her attempted corporate espionage. I've since sold the condo. Nobody wants to live in a place with such bad memories. I lost money on the sale because I had to disclose the property damage she caused, but I just wanted to be done with it. I've moved to a high security building where the front desk has her picture with instructions never to let her in. I've also changed all my phone numbers and email addresses. The financial damage was significant but manageable. Between the property damage, legal fees, and lost business opportunities due to her interference, I estimate she cost me close to $500,000. I've learned my lesson about mixing finances before marriage and now have strict prenups prepared for any future relationships. Jake and I have also implemented intense security measures at our company, including background checks for anyone who might have access to sensitive information. Kylie moved back in with her parents in another state, but she hasn't stopped trying to play the victim. She created multiple social media accounts to tell her version of events, claiming I manipulated and used her before discarding her when she needed me most. Some mutual friends believed her story and cut contact with me. A few even wrote nasty reviews about our company online, forcing us to hire a reputation management firm. Last week, I heard from a mutual friend that Kylie is now engaged to another tech entrepreneur. I immediately had my lawyer send his company a detailed warning about her history of corporate espionage and fraud. I know some might see this as petty, but I couldn't let her potentially destroy another person's life and company. I'm focusing on my work now and taking time to process everything. I've started training in mixed martial arts as a way to deal with stress, and it's helping. The company is doing better than ever, partly because this experience pushed us to improve our security and legal protections. Jake has been an incredible friend through all of this, even setting up a system to screen potential dates for similar scam histories. This experience taught me that money really does change people, or maybe it just reveals who they truly were all along. I'm more cautious now, but I'm not letting this experience make me bitter. Instead, I'm using it as motivation to be smarter about who I trust and how I protect myself. Sometimes losing someone toxic from your life, even if it costs you money and friends, is the best investment you can make in your future.